my parents, I'm the oldest of 6, so, and it's really 4 and 2. I got along fine with my father, but again, it was, back then, parents were a little more distant, okay?
Yeah, they were.
Mm-hmm. They were. But we did things together. My father would take me to out fishing. We went out Montauk Point. We went out deep sea fishing. We would go to the stock car races. He took me to work and stuff like that, those kind of things. So we did those things. And ultimately, in high school, my father bought a little sailboat, and we would go out sailing on that on Long Island Sound. That's one of the reasons I really like sailing. It's one of my favorite things to do. I can't do too much of it in Bakersfield, but that's the way
Lake
it is.
Bakersfield is pretty small.
Yeah.
Sound sailing.
Anyway, so I got along fine with them. My mother, she was the one who essentially took care of the finances and that kind of stuff. And my mother loved to do word puzzles, crosswords. And I would do that with her. That's one of the things that helped to improve my vocabulary, and I think that's a great thing to do. I always did well in school, so I never had a problem. I was never a problem child to them. One of my younger brothers is a different story, but I won't go into all of those. But anyway, there were the 4 of the oldest of us, myself, my sister, and then my brother David, and my brother Jim. We all lived out on Long Island. The others were born and pretty much raised in New York City and Connecticut. Anyway, I got along fine with them. Never had any problems. But one thing that I would mention is that as far as college goes, back in those days, not everybody went to college. But every time we talked about anything about education, it was, okay, where are you going to go to college? It wasn't like, do you think you'd want to go to college? You think you want to be this or that? No, it's just, where are you going to college? When you go to college, it's not if you go to college, it's when you go to college. Well, it was always just buried in my mind that college is, okay, that's the next step.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know if you had that similar thing, but that's the kind of thing that was buried in me. So that's the way, I just assumed, okay, graduate high school,
Next step.
go to college. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like, okay, I took this breath, I take the next breath.
Yeah.
There's no different. Anyway, I got along fine with that.
Yeah, and as far as my in-laws are concerned, it took a little bit of an adjustment because I had married their oldest son. I was the first daughter-in-law. And it's always an adjustment, I think, to have somebody come in from the outside that has been raised differently. And so at times, we were on different planets. We just understood that, I respected them. I'll tell you one thing, they served the Lord. They were straight arrows when it came to that. Their integrity was intact. Their relationships with others at times was a little bit of a challenge. Her whole world was her husband. And I think that it became so tight that friendships, outside friendships, were a little bit different. She did have a best friend who happened to be my sister-in-law's mother and father. They were friends, but only to a certain degree. And everything she did was, very devoted to her husband. But as we got older and we got to know one another better, we got on really great. And she would come to the house and visit, and we'd do all kinds of crafts and stuff and talk, and she, I think, regarded me as a friend more than a daughter-in-law.
Well, before we were married, they lived in New York City area. After the third year of college, my parents moved from New York City up to central Connecticut. It was about an hour and a half away. And I was faced with either living on campus with paying for a room, or doing something else. And we decided that we would get married, so we got married between my third year of school and my fourth year of school. And I was on a 5-year program to get 2 degrees. I got a degree in an arts degree in pre-engineering, it was called. It was a liberal arts degree. And the second degree was a Bachelor of Science in electrical engineering. I opted for that because I felt that gave me a very broad education and would be very useful. My experience is that was very useful. Okay? Anyway, so we were married in the last 2 years of my school, and Faye worked in New York City, but my parents were away essentially for 2.5 hours. Her parents were probably 15 minutes away or something.
Yeah, but we never saw them.
We didn't see a lot of them. They were their father was very helpful, and he gave us cars. Okay, he would give us a car. One car he gave me, I had an interview, and the oil was a little low, but I didn't have enough money. I had to get gas or oil. So I got gas.
Oh boy.
And I went to the interview and drove home, and the car had overheated. And when I came out, after a while, the engine was frozen. So,
Yeah, that's what that is.
so we got,
Put together.
so my.
It was a nice car, so he went out and got us a junk.
He got us a junk one. And it was an
He
old
decided
Ford.
That's all we deserved.
It was an old Ford, but it worked.
No heat.
No heat.
In the winter, traveling up to Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Oh.
And finally the driver's side window didn't work. So he hooked up a piece of cloth that it was like a rope down in between the
He could Jimmy
window
Reed
and the
anything.
door, and inside the door, and the way you closed or opened the door was to pull up on the rope and wrap it around the handle.
Sort of like we did with the Volvo.
Yeah.
Well, the Volvo was even
Even
that had
that
other
was-
kind of problem.
Yes.
Anyway,
It's called
that's a
teenager.
long time later, but anyway,
Yes.
so he was very helpful that way. So we
He
lived in
wanted to be.
a 1-bedroom apartment, and it was reasonably good commute to
Yes, it was.
to both her work and to my
School.
school. So and-
Yeah. That worked out
And I-
pretty good.
I did get through. I did not do as well in college as I did in high school. In high school, I was accustomed to just getting good grades because I showed up, okay? I could listen to what was being said, and it was said so slowly. I mean, the progression of ideas was so slow that it was easy to assimilate. And